Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a topic that you, our listener, clearly find pretty intriguing, the law of attraction.
Hmm.
You sent us this guide, a beginner's guide, which tells us you're curious about this whole idea that our thoughts can actually shape our reality.
Right.
And you're probably wondering, okay, beyond the buzzwords, how does this really work? And, more importantly, how can you maybe use it to move towards the life you want, unlock your potential?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we're going to explore. We'll break down the core of the LOA, look at how it's supposed to function, and hopefully give you some concrete steps to start trying it out.
It's actually pretty remarkable how this concept, which, yeah, can seem a bit
Yeah.
out there, at first touches on some really fundamental ideas
Uh,
about energy,
yeah.
our connection to the world.
Yeah.
And as your guide points out, the main idea is attracts, think of it like all a fundamental principle.
Yeah.
The energy we broadcast, thoughts, feelings, actions, it's like a signal.
A signal.
Yeah, a homing signal. It draws in experiences that are vibrating on that same wavelength.
Okay, so let's dig into that a bit. This like attracts like.
Yeah.
If you're really focusing your mental energy on, say, getting that promotion, does that actually increase your chances?
Well, the guide suggests it does.
Hmm.
It highlights that really honing in on positive, abundant thoughts and emotions, well, that tends to bring in positive results.
Right.
While negativity, unfortunately, can attract more of what we don't want. It even mentions Abraham Hicks' idea. You are a magnet for your vibrational match.
Okay, vibrational match. What exactly does that mean? To be a vibrational match to what we want.
It's about the overall feeling and belief you hold around your desire.
Mm.
It's not just, quick positive thoughts.
Hmm.
It's more about your dominant emotional state,
Yeah.
your underlying beliefs, making sure they align with what you want to attract.
Like tuning a radio.
Exactly like tuning a radio.
Yeah.
If you want a specific station, you got to match its frequency, right? So to attract that promotion, you need to kind of resonate with the feeling of already having it, the confidence, the excitement, that sense of accomplishment, that consistent internal state. That's the powerful attractor.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Your guide goes into the potential science behind this.
Uh-huh.
It brings up quantum physics, the idea that everything deep down is energy and vibration. Even quotes Einstein. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And then it pivots to neuroscience, suggesting our thoughts influence emotions, driving actions, maybe even rewiring our brains for success.
Hmm.
It links this to Robert Collier's focus on thought. How do these different fields help us understand LOA?
Well, what's super interesting is this thread of interconnectedness running through them.
Yeah.
Quantum physics talks about energy and information constantly interacting, at a really basic level. Now, it's not like a direct, perfect mapping, but the idea that our internal energy, our thoughts, feelings, could interact with and influence the bigger energy field around us. It gives a compelling way to think about like attracts like.
And the neuroscience part?
That gives us something more tangible. Our brains are incredibly plastic, right? They
Okay.
change. So repeated thoughts and emotions literally strengthen the neural pathways for those states.
So focusing positively on the promotion?
Can literally reinforce the brain networks that support a confident, action-oriented mindset. Makes you more likely to actually take the steps needed. And Collier's work just reinforces that idea. Directed mental energy leads to real results through focused effort.
Okay, so it's not just abstract thinking. There's a real interplay, potentially, between our inner world and the outer world.
Seems that way.
Now, your guide breaks down the LOA into a 5-step process. First one is clarify your desire. Get super clear on what you want: wealth, health, love, growth. Why is that clarity so vital right at the start?
Well, clarity is basically step one for any focused intention. If you send out a fuzzy or conflicting message,
You get fuzzy results.
pretty much, the universe, you could say, responds with unclear or mixed results. Defining your goals precisely directs your mental energy. It's like putting a specific address in your GPS, not just vaguely saying somewhere nice.
Huh. Right.
The more specific the vision, the more focused the energy, the clearer the signal you're sending.
Okay, step 2. Visualize your goals. Your guide says to really immerse yourself in the feeling of already having what you want. Feel the joy, the success in your mind. How does visualization actually help make it real?
Visualization is a really powerful tool. It engages your subconscious mind. When you vividly imagine living that desired outcome and you tap into those positive emotions,
Yeah.
Your brain kind of starts treating that imagined reality like something it's already experienced,
Interesting.
which can then trigger similar emotional and motivational responses now, making you more likely to take actions that line up with that vision. Plus, it helps solidify your belief that it's actually possible.
Okay, makes sense. Third step, positive thinking and affirmations. The guide really emphasizes our thoughts pave the way for reality. Using positive self-talk like, I am worthy of success, aligns our energy with abundance. It also quotes Robert Collier. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. How do affirmations work day to day?
Affirmations are basically about consciously retraining your internal chat. Many of us have these subconscious limiting beliefs
Oh, yeah.
that can totally sabotage us. By consistently repeating positive statements that affirm your worthiness, your ability to reach your goals, you start challenging and slowly replacing those negative thought patterns.
Like reprogramming.
Exactly. Think of it like planting new seeds in your mind. Repetition, belief that helps those seeds take root and grow, shifting your overall mindset and influencing your actions positively. And Collier's point is crucial. Positive thinking needs that consistent effort. They work together.
Right, which leads perfectly into step 4, take inspired action. This is a big one, I think, for anyone skeptical about LOA being too passive.
Definitely.
Your guide rightly stresses it's not just thinking happy thoughts on the sofa. You got to be open to opportunities, follow those intuitive nudges that feel aligned.
Exactly right. The law of attraction isn't a replacement for taking action in the world. What it does is help you become more attuned, more aware of opportunities that resonate with what you want.
Inspired action.
That's the key phrase.
Yeah.
It's about taking steps that feel exciting, aligned with your gut feeling, driven by purpose, not feeling forced or like a massive struggle. It's about being an active co-creator.
Okay, and finally, step 5, practice gratitude. Your guide quotes Abraham Hicks again. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. It says, appreciating what we have opens us up to receive more. How does simple gratitude have such a big effect in the LOA framework?
Gratitude is just a remarkably potent positive emotion. Seriously. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you naturally shift your energy away from lack
Hmm.
and towards feelings of abundance. That positive emotional state acts like a magnet, attracting more things to be grateful for. It also strengthens your belief that good things are already here and more are possible. It's valuing the good that exists, which just amplifies that positive energy.
Wow. Okay, so those are the core concepts and the 5 steps. Now, the guide gives some really practical tips for actually doing this daily. First, start small.
Yeah,
Go for goals that feel easier to manifest. Just to build confidence makes total sense, right? You wouldn't try a marathon without training.
absolutely. Building that initial momentum, seeing real results, even small ones, can massively boost your belief in the whole process. Makes it feel less like a fantasy.
Right.
It gives you personal proof that, hey, this principle can work, which strengthens you for bigger goals later.
Another suggestion, create a vision board. A collage of images, words representing your desires. Put it where you'll see it often. What's the psychological kick of having that visual reminder?
A vision board is like a powerful anchor for your intentions. It's a constant visual cue of what you're aiming for, reinforcing focus and motivation.
Keeps it front and center.
Exactly. Seeing those images regularly keeps goals top of mind, triggers those positive feelings associated with achieving them, and helps align your energy. It's a tangible way to keep your dreams alive in your awareness.
The guide also pushes for daily meditation, quieting the mind, reducing stress, aligning energy with desires, focusing on the feelings of your outcomes during meditation. How does that mindfulness help alignment?
Meditation is just so valuable for creating that calm, clear space inside. When you quiet the mental chatter, you become more aware of your underlying beliefs, your emotions.
Okay.
And by intentionally focusing on the feelings of your desired outcomes during meditation, you're actively cultivating that positive vibrational state. It also helps cut down resistance from stress and negative thoughts, letting your intentions take root more easily.
Right, less internal static. Another really practical one, surround yourself with positivity. Build an environment with supportive people, uplifting messages, inspiring stuff. How critical is our external environment?
Oh, it's huge. Profoundly impactful, often way more than we realize. Being constantly exposed to negativity, people, media, whatever, can seriously lower your overall vibration.
Makes it harder to stay positive.
Much harder. Conversely, surrounding yourself with positivity acts like this powerful reinforcement for your intentions, helps you stay aligned. It's like creating a supportive ecosystem for your dreams to actually grow.
Yeah, makes sense. Finally, your guide advises, be patient and trust the process. LOA operates on its own timeline. This feels crucial because I bet lots of people get discouraged if results aren't instant.
Patience and trust are absolutely essential. Manifestation isn't always instant coffee.
Right.
There's often a period where alignment is happening unseen beneath the surface. Doubt, impatience, they actually create resistance. They introduce negative vibes that hinder the process.
So you gotta trust.
You got to cultivate that deep sense of trust that things are working out, even without immediate proof. That keeps you in that receptive, positive state that allows manifestation.
Okay. Now, your guide also helpfully tackles some common misconceptions about LOA, sets realistic expectations. One is the idea you can just think about it and it will manifest.
Ah, yes, the magic wand idea.
Exactly. The guide correctly says inspired action is necessary.
A really important distinction. LOA isn't about magically conjuring stuff without effort. It works with the law of action. Positive thinking sets the energetic stage, makes you aware of opportunities.
But you still gotta act.
You still need to be willing to take those steps when they show up. It's a collaboration, intention, and action.
Another misconception. The law of attraction is magic. The guide stresses it's about consciously choosing thoughts and actions aligned with your desired life and trusting universal support, not, hocus pocus.
Precisely. While the results can feel remarkable, sometimes uncanny, it operates on principles: energy, vibration, intention. It's about consciously directing your focus, aligning yourself energetically, not expecting some external magic force to do everything.
Right. And lastly, it clarifies that it's not only about wealth. LOA applies to all parts of life: love, health, personal growth, whatever truly resonates with you.
Absolutely right. Abundance isn't just money. It's all forms of positive experience, overall well-being. The core principles work for any area where you want positive change, as long as it's genuinely aligned with your values.
So, to kind of wrap this up, this deep dive into your beginner's guide really presents LOA as a powerful approach to creating a life with more success, abundance, happiness,
Hmm.
by consciously getting our thoughts, emotions, and actions in harmony with our desires. It brings us back to that Abraham Hicks reminder: you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Really hammers home the power of our focus.
Yeah, it does.
And the guide encourages you, listening, to start today. Get clear on what you want, practice gratitude, visualize that success.
And what's truly empowering, I think, is the emphasis on your own agency. The law of attraction, as laid out here, puts you in the driver's seat,
Right.
encourages you to become more aware of your inner world and how it shapes your outer experience. It's recognizing your power to influence your reality.
That's a fantastic point. Really puts the focus on our capacity for change. So, for you, our listener, maybe consider this. How consciously are you directing your thoughts and feelings right now? And in what small ways could intentionally shifting that focus, even just a little, maybe open doors to unexpected opportunities, give you a greater sense of control? What's one small action you could take today to intentionally steer your thoughts towards the life you want? Definitely a powerful way to look at things. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.